Hey everyone, it's Angel, and today I have a brand spanking new collection from China Glaze. This is the Spring Pastels 2017 collection, and I haven't heard a beep about this set, and I just happened to stumble upon it on eBay when I was shopping for God knows what. So I immediately purchased the entire collection because what else do you do in that situation? Duh. So let's get into the swatches. First up is Thatll Teach You, which is kind of a dusty warm peach, but I think that it leans a little more orange than peach. For all swatches, I'm already going to have a base coat on. I'm just not showing it to save some time. So here is the first coat of That'll Teach You, and I thought it had a pretty decent formula. It wasn't super thick, wasn't super thin, just kind of that in-between thickness that I like. And it was pretty easy to apply. You can see here on my ring nail, I did get a little bit on the side of my nail on the skin here, but I don't fault the polish for that. I think that was definitely my fault. And here is the second coat, and I still liked how it was applying, although I was still seeing a little bit of my nail line peeking through on this second coat. And then I don't know what happened here. What is that I just put on my nail? I don't know if that was in the polish or my brush picked up something like off of my skin or something. I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know what that is, but I decided to just keep going and I continued to polish right over it. If your screen is suddenly looking a little darker, it's because it is. I fixed my camera settings. I think I was overexposing and washing out the colors and you couldn't see the patchiness that I was talking about. Now, I did end up applying a third layer of this polish, but I think that's only because sometimes when I'm filming, I can't see what I'm doing and end up just, not completely covering the nail. So I do think that this color is a 2-coat polish, but I needed to apply 3 on camera. I don't have another China Glaze close to That'll Teach You. The closest I had is More to Explore. Now, I don't have China Glaze Son of a Peach, but I do think That'll Teach You would be close to Son of a Peach, and I just said peach like 50 times. Next up is Casual Friday, a very springy, creamy, buttery yellow. And here is the first coat of Casual Friday. This was also before I fixed my camera settings, so that's why it's looking a little washed out. And like every other yellow cream polish that's ever existed, this one also has a not so great formula. It's kind of thin, sheer, patchy, runny, just kind of doesn't want to go anywhere you want to put it. Now, I don't know much about polish formulating, but from what I've heard, this is just, the way yellow pigments work. So I don't exactly fault China Glaze or any other polish company for shitty yellow formulas, but I still like this color, even though I'm kind of shit-talking it. I do still like it. I mean, it's like I took a stick of butter and just smeared it all over my fingers, and I love butter, so I like this polish. So I did end up having to do 3 coats to reach full opacity with this polish, but we already determined I love butter, so I don't care. And here is Casual Friday compared to Daisy Know My Name, which is obviously a much brighter polish, but it's just something to go by. I don't have another pastel yellow from China Glaze. I had a top coat to all swatches. I'll have the top coat linked down below. So I actually ended up liking the way these 2 polishes look together, and since I decided Casual Friday reminds me of butter, That'll Teach You will remind me of Cheetos, because I love butter, I love Cheetos, so this is a winning combination. Next up is Are You Or Kidding Me, which is a very soft, pale orchid purple that I think leans a little pink in person. And here is the first coat, and honestly, I was a little surprised at how opaque this was on the first coat, because a lot of times these softer type of colors tend to have a very sheer first coat and are usually buildable type of colors, but I thought this one went on pretty good at the first coat. It was even to apply, easy to control, and wasn't flooding my cuticles. And here is the second coat, and this color ends up being completely opaque at 2 coats, which made me super happy because purple is one of my favorite polish colors to wear, and I really do love this color. It ends up being one of my favorites in the collection. So the second coat went on just as nicely as the first coat. And here is Are You Or Kidding Me compared to In a Lily Bit. Can you guess which is which? Well, In a Lily Bit is on the right. As you can see, they are super close, although In a Lily Bit is definitely a little brighter and a little more purple, but I think In a Lily Bit has a pretty shitty formula, so I'm definitely happy to have Are You Or Kidding Me to replace it for me. Next up is a Waltz in the Park, which is a cool toned lavender that definitely leans a little gray. And here is the first coat of a Waltz in the Park, and I noticed that this one had more of a runny, thinner formula than the other ones I've tried so far, and you gotta kind of be careful with application because it tends to want to go all over the place, and if you're not careful, it's just gonna end up all on your skin, all up in those cuticles. So I did notice that this color tends to dry darker than the bottle. It's not something that bothered me because I liked the color that it dried to, but just thought I should point that out to you guys. And I wasn't expecting the second coat to be opaque because that first coat was kind of sheer. So I was pleasantly surprised there, and I do end up liking this polish even though, I should talk the first layer. I do love the color, and it was opaque in 2 coats. And I didn't have any sort of cool purple to compare a Waltz in the Park to, so here it is compared to China Glaze Release, which is definitely more of a gray polish, but it has a little bit of a purple undertone to it. So I ended up really liking both of these colors, and I chose to wear them after I was done swatching, and I actually posted a picture of them to my Snapchat, and I never said what the polishes were, but a lot of you guys took screenshots of them, so I'm assuming you liked them. So those were these two, and I ended up wearing them for about 6 days, and they had a very good wear time. I didn't have any chipping. I only had a little bit of tip wear, so I recommend them. Next up is Belleville Dollar, which is a pretty basic medium tone pink, and I don't think it's quite bright enough to call it a bubblegum pink. And here's the first coat, and it was really reminding me formula-wise of the orange That'll Teach You, and that it wasn't very thick, but it wasn't very thin, yet it was still easy to control and was going where I wanted it to go, so it wasn't flooding my cuticles. So here is the second coat of Belleville Dollar, and as you can see, it is almost opaque, but I have a theory when it comes to blue tone pink polishes. Since I have a warmer skin tone, I always find, no matter how opaque the polish is, I always have to do at least 3 coats, and I think it's because my warmer skin tone of my nail bed is just popping through that blue tone polish and they're not canceling each other out. So if you find you also have a warm skin tone, does that happen to you? I'm really curious if this is just in my head. Please let me know. So here is Belleville Dollar on the left compared to Don't Mesa With My Heart on the right. And as you can see, Don't Mesa With My Heart is just a shade deeper. Next up is My Sweet Lady, which is just sort of a classic soft baby pink. And here is the first coat of My Sweet Lady, and normally I find these very soft pink colors, they tend to be chalky and drag on the nail, but I wasn't finding this one to do that. I mean, it's obviously not opaque here, but it's not dragging across my nail and it's applying nicely. And here is the second coat, and I found that it was still applying nicely. It wasn't runny or flooding my cuticles or anything, and there are going to be some people that would be satisfied with only 2 coats of this polish, but I am not one of those people, so I ended up applying 3 coats, and it was fully opaque on that 3rd coat. But I don't really fault the polish for needing 3 coats because pastel pinks, I mean, it's kind of standard to have to apply 3 coats. And here is My Sweet Lady as compared to Fresh Princess, and as you can see, they are extremely close. Fresh Princess leans a little bit more peach, and My Sweet Lady leans a little bit more pink. I don't think you need both, so whichever you have a preference for. I thought these 2 polishes looked great together, and for some reason I was getting flashbacks to my teen years when I was a bit of an edgelord and I thought I was too cool to like the color pink, and now that I'm adult, I completely embrace pink. I love it. These colors make me feel fresh, clean, and girly. I like them. I recommend them. Next up is Chalk Me Up, and I'm trying to think of something clever how to describe this, but I don't know. It's a pastel blue. What do you want from me? And here is the first coat of Chalk Me Up, and this one definitely had more of a thin formula, and it just wanted to run all over and flood my cuticles and drown my skin. I think it was trying to kill me. So I had to do a little cleanup before I applied the second coat. So here is the second coat, and even though it was trying to kill me earlier, it ended up being opaque on this second coat. I was truly surprised. And to be honest, I forgive this polish for trying to murder me because I think it's very pretty, and it ended up being opaque in 2 coats, so I'll take it. I like it. I forgive you, polish. And I don't have any other China Glaze close to chalk me up, so here it is compared to New Birth, which is definitely more of a white polish with just a blue tint. And last up we have Spring Jungle, and oh my goodness, we actually have a polish name that describes the polish color. When does that ever happen? And here is the first coat of Spring Jungle, and my first initial thought was, oh my god, this isn't a piece of garbage, because usually pale green polishes just tend to apply like crap. So I was pleasantly surprised with this one, except here you could see on this nail, I just didn't have enough polish on the brush, so that's why it's applying so crappy. That was definitely my fault, so I just applied a little bit more. And here is the second coat, and I was too busy freaking out on the last coat to even talk about it formula-wise, but I did find that this one was a little bit thicker, but I don't think that takes away from the polish. I think that actually helps it and what gives it its opacity, and I think China Glaze probably did that on purpose because green polishes tend to be crappy. So I definitely enjoy this one, and it's one of my favorites from the collection. And here is Spring Jungle in the middle, Highlight of My Summer on the left, and For Audrey on the right. Obviously, Highlight of My Summer is much brighter than Spring Jungle, but Highlight of My Summer has an absolute shit formula, so Spring Jungle will be replacing it for my light pale green polish needs. And here they are together looking all springy, and I'm always excited when a polish catches me off guard, and Spring Jungle definitely caught me off guard because I thought it had a pretty good formula for a pale green polish, and I really like this color. So I am happy with these two. And that completes my swatches for the China Glaze Spring Pastels 2017 collection, and I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of comments down below that are going to say, where the hollow at, no? And what I say to those people is, please don't discriminate against my beloved cream polishes. They're my favorite, and that's what glitter's for. You can always add glitter top coat or a hollow top coat over them to make them a little more sparkly for your liking. So my top 3 picks from the collection ended up being Are You Or Kidding Me, Spring Jungle, and That'll Teach You. I mean, deep down in my heart, I really want to say that I enjoyed these all because I did, but I mean, what kind of person does that make me that I literally say I like everything? I mean, I really do tend to like a lot of things though. So anyways, don't forget you can follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter at twy_star. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.